Can you get really rich as a home inspector? The answer is yes. I think there are two ways to do it. The first is to follow what most other rich people do, and that is to hire employees. If you look at Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, what do they have in common? Bill Gates, they have a lot of employees. And so that's the way to do it, I would say, as a home inspector, is to build up a multi-inspector firm. You can only make so much money with your own two hands. I mean, unless you're Tiger Woods or a musician or something, you're not going to make a lot of money in this world by yourself. You have to have employees. The other way to get rich in the inspection industry, I think, is by doing the gravy jobs, and those are commercial inspections. So if you're doing commercial inspections, you're charging thousands per inspection instead of hundreds, and you're using subcontractors to help you do the inspections, you know, plumbers or commercial roofers, master electricians, etc. That's another way to get rich in the inspection business. Just working as a home inspector, you can do really well, but you'll have to hire employees or go into commercial inspections to get really rich, in my opinion. Well, I think I abided by a rule that I learned a long time ago, which is to never do anything that you can't delegate down. And if you don't have the people to delegate down to, go get them. And that seems to work for, I think, most businesses. If you're out there doing work yourself, you may be helping your company, but you're not helping your company as much as you could be if you were pushing that work down to somebody competent enough to do it. There's some things maybe that you and only you can do, and it's fine for you to do those. Certainly, you know, a CEO doesn't go onto the assembly line often. If there's something you can do to help your inspection business, go ahead and do that. But generally, you always want to be thinking about delegating. Unfortunately, most people do every inspection that comes in. Most inspectors take every inspection. And I think that's a mistake. I think you should market and systemize your marketing so that you're basically bringing in about 1.3 times as many inspections as you could possibly do. And I would run your business as that, as you're always turning down maybe 20% of your work. If you have the number of employees that can handle enough inspections to do, you know, 80% of the work that's coming in, you're about right. You don't want to do it all. And you don't want to do it all for a couple of reasons. One, when you have a lot of extra work coming in, because your marketing is stronger than your ability to deliver those services, you have the stomach sort of to raise prices. And then you also don't have to worry about the ups and downs in the market, because when it's down, you're probably running full speed and doing all the inspections that come in. And when it's up, you're turning them down. And then lastly, when you're turning down inspections, you're giving your competitors the sort of the mashed potatoes of the meal, the stuff you really don't want to do, the least profitable stuff, the stuff that's far from you geographically, older homes, bigger homes that maybe have some issues, estates, things that maybe where you think that you're not going to get the profit out of them, homes that don't have a lot of ancillary inspection service requests. So if you're just doing a home inspection on a real big home that's old, that's far away, that's your least profitable inspection. So you give those away to your competitors. You keep the gravy for yourself. So you have to make a choice. You have to decide where you want to stop growing. So a lot of people take all their money and invest it into their businesses. You take somebody like, again, Jeff Bezos, who I mentioned, or Elon Musk, you know, they didn't make money for years. They just put all their money into their business. And to this day, you know, when we say they have a net worth of hundreds of billions of dollars, that isn't in cash. That net worth is in their businesses. They own stock in their own companies. So that's one way you can do it as an inspector, is to work on your company, see if it needs anything, and shore it all up as best as you can. The rest of it has to go somewhere else. And, you know, we're still in a very inflationary environment. And inflation is cumulative. So if there's 8% inflation one year, then 10% the next, and then 4% after that, inflation hasn't gone down because you're at 22% inflation over those years. And it just keeps adding up. So you can't keep your money in cash. You have to basically move it into income producing assets like your business, rentals, real estate, or other hard assets like precious metals. Stocks are essentially an ownership in something real. Anything you can touch would be better than having cash in the bank. It's good to have multiple streams of income, but only if you're willing to give the same focus to them that you would if you were running it only that business. So if you have a home inspection business and you have some other businesses that sort of have some synergy with home inspections, and you're able to give them each the care they need, like children, you don't want to just have too many children that you can't care for, then it's okay to open up other businesses, I would say. There are a lot of other businesses that generate some cash, just like home inspections do, that might be a good thing to get into. And then just leave your home inspection business, your core business. I always have some synergy between my companies. What I mean by that is that I can pull someone out of one company and they're somewhat qualified to work in another. So you don't want to have businesses that are too far apart from each other. The home inspection business is in the real estate business. So maybe a real estate license. It's also a little bit in a construction business. And although you can't work on your own inspections to fix defects you find, that talent base you can pull from. So if you're running a construction company and you have people in the trades, those employees, as they get older, make pretty good inspectors that you can draw from. I always like to hire my retiring HVAC contractors, because an HVAC contractor becomes a pretty good inspector. In the HVAC business, you have to know a little bit about HVACs, plumbing. You have to do some plumbing, roof penetrations from your exhaust and things. You have to wire it, so you need to know electricity. You sort of have to have X-ray vision to see where the ductwork and the pipes are going to go. And I find them to be a pretty good source for hiring new inspectors. Well, I'm not a tax advisor, but I would say you have to worry about the lion in the jungle who eats most of everything, which is the IRS, right? And so it turns out that most strategies to eliminate taxes or reduce taxes also grow wealth. If you're spending your money in your business, for instance, then you're not taking it as income. Your wealth is growing because your business is getting more valuable, but you haven't paid tax on it because the United States doesn't tax wealth. It taxes income. So in a nutshell, the way I grew a lot of wealth is I considered income to be kryptonite, in essence. I only took what I needed to live on comfortably. All the rest of the money I used to build businesses that I now own and are worth millions. They're not just worth millions as businesses, but they also have assets themselves, which are worth a lot. And so if you look at, again, someone like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, they probably have less cash than me at this point in their banks and in their pockets. All of their billions of wealth tied up in their businesses, and they didn't have to pay income tax on that. And so I try to do what wealthy people do. I was never good in school. I'm a high school dropout, but I was always a good copier. So copy what really wealthy people do to build wealth. I would say that they spend too much time and effort on technical issues. In other words, they're already A+ inspectors, and yet they continue to take technical courses over and over and over again at conventions. And when you look at their marketing doesn't match their technical competence. Their technical competence will be at the highest levels ever in our industry, and yet they'll have a home inspection flyer that they printed off on an inkjet printer that their wife made for them. And so I always say you want to do what I call the BMW test. Take your marketing brochure to your local BMW dealer and stick it in that stand that spins around and around that has all the brochures of all the models of the BMWs that they sell. and ask yourself, does my brochure look like it was designed and produced by the same people who produced the marketing material for these BMWs? The answer should be yes. Should be that level of marketing to match the contention that you're making, which is that you're the best home inspector in town. And you might be. So if you're the best home inspector in town and you're very competent in what you do, you want pricing and your marketing to both support that contention. You don't want crappy marketing and low pricing, because no one will believe what you're really trying to say, which is that you're the best home inspector in town. To make that statement, and you should be making it if you are, you have to make it in a way that's believable. And that means great marketing, passes the BMW test, and high prices. Building a business and producing wealth is one thing, but you also have to protect it. So I mentioned precious metals, for instance. If you bought a bunch of precious metals, gold and silver, you wouldn't just leave them exposed on your deck, for instance, at your house, would you? Or on your dining room table. You would do whatever you can to protect them, lock them up in a safe or in a vault and protect them some way. E&O insurance is kind of the same thing. If you've built a great business and you have assets to protect, even personal assets, you want to protect all that. And so air and emissions insurance does that for you. It is a line of defense to keep someone from taking your wealth that you built. It would be a horrible thing to have worked for many years and to have accomplished a lot and built a lot of wealth, only to have one stupid, meritless lawsuit that you win cause you to lose all your wealth. And what I mean by that is, imagine being sued for something where there's no basis for them to file a lawsuit at all. And so you go to court for years and you win. What does it matter? Who paid your defense costs? You. Well, to avoid that, I would recommend InterNACHI's air and emissions insurance for every inspector, whether it's required in your state or province or not.